is an audio renaissance presentation.
Has there ever been a time in human history when the need for peace was greater? Each year, new wars erupt, the arms race escalates, and $1 trillion are spent on weapons, while millions of people remain hungry, helpless, and homeless. Yet it is not that we are any more aggressive than our predecessors. Indeed, at this very moment, millions of people are devoting their lives to calming hostilities, redressing injustices, and helping the poor and deprived. Rather, advances in technological power have awesomely magnified the impact of our negative states of mind. These negative states, such as emotions of greed and anger, thoughts of attack and revenge, and misperceptions of people and situations, are the root causes of the global problems we face today. The global turmoil mirrors our own inner turmoil, and the state of the world reflects the state of our minds. Once this is recognized, it becomes apparent that our global problems, nuclear weapons, ecological disturbances, mass starvation, etc., are actually symptoms of the psychological conflicts within us and between us. The basic source of our problems, as well as their solutions, lie within us, and therefore only solutions that include changing our minds are likely to be effective. Yet it is tragic how rarely this apparently obvious fact is recognized. Rather, most responses tend to be military, political, or economic, and usually leave the psychological roots of the problems untouched or even exacerbated. The question that therefore naturally arises, and it may be one of the most important questions of our time, is this: what can we do to treat not only the global crises, but also the deep psychological roots from which these crises arise? The great religions have addressed these root causes of suffering throughout human history. Each culture and age has brought forth its own version of the perennial wisdom that lies at the heart of the great religions. A Course in Miracles represents one form of this perennial wisdom for our own time. The significance and appeal of the Course transcend traditional boundaries and extend to all who ponder the deepest questions of human existence, meaning, and purpose. Its answers point out a path whereby the mind may be trained, our true identity remembered, and the gifts received thereby, such as love, joy, and peace, may be shared with the world. The Course was first published in 1975 and consists of 3 volumes. The first is a text that lays out the underlying thought system, the second a workbook with a lesson for each day of the year, and the third a teacher's manual. The language of the Course is traditional in its use of Christian terminology and masculine pronouns, but the underlying message and principles are universal. The central aim of the Course is peace. It offers a roadmap for finding the peace for which everyone yearns, which the world so desperately needs, and which religious sages throughout the ages have called the highest form of happiness. Forget not, it says, that the motivation for this course is the attainment and the keeping of the state of peace. The peace that the Course would have us experience is all-encompassing, embracing our hearts and minds, our relationships, and the world. It points out that we cannot hope to create a peaceful world if we ourselves are not at peace. Peace, like love, it says, must first be uncovered within, and then extended through our relationships in ever-widening, ever more inclusive circles, until eventually peace encompasses everyone, without exception and without reserve. Moreover, this inner peace is not something that we must create, but rather something that already exists within us as part of our true identity. Recognizing this peace and extending it in the world requires removing the obstacles, the fears and fantasies, anger and aggression, defenses and distortions that keep our true identity from being known to us. Moreover, as we relinquish these obstacles, we discover that we never really needed them in the first place. Rather, we find that our true self has no need of anger, fear, or defensiveness, and is naturally loving, joyous, and peaceful. Such is the central claim of A Course in Miracles. To the extent that we recognize the love, joy, and peace that constitute our true identity, to that extent we desire to extend them through sharing them. Such sharing is both the means for and the result of removing the obstacles to the awareness of ourself and our inner peace. For A Course in Miracles suggests that what we give, we receive. What we teach, we learn, and as we see others, we see ourselves. Therefore it recommends that we learn that giving and receiving are the same. Teach peace to learn it, and remember in your brother, you but see yourself. Very simply then, offering peace to others is a way to have it ourselves, and a natural result of having it is sharing it. The following quotations from A Course in Miracles are those that we have found most relevant to the theme of peace. For those unfamiliar with the Course, we hope that a gift of peace may stimulate interest in exploring the original source. Certainly, a full appreciation of the Course demands studying the original material, since no quotations, no matter how beautiful, can offer more than a taste of the extraordinary depth and richness of the original. The potential impact of the Course can best be appreciated by studying it directly. If this tape encourages listeners to do that, it will have served its purpose well. We are grateful for the opportunity of sharing these quotations and hope that they will indeed give you a gift of peace and enable you to share this gift with the world. The choice is ours. A Course in Miracles teaches that our choices and desires determine the nature and quality of our experience, behavior, relationships, and ultimately even our sense of identity. Moment by moment, we choose whether to feel love or hate, whether to attack or forgive, whether to see truth or illusion. Each choice determines our perception of the meaning and purpose of our lives, and each choice is a decision for or against peace. Deciding for peace. This world will change through you. No other means can save it. Do you not think the world needs peace as much as you do? Do you not want to give it to the world as much as you want to receive it? For unless you do, you will not receive it. The question, what do you want, must be answered. You are answering it every minute and every second, and each moment of decision is a judgment that is anything but ineffectual. Its effects will follow automatically until the decision is changed. The power of decision is all that is yours. What you can decide between is fixed, because there are no alternatives except truth and illusion, and there is no overlap between them because they are opposites which cannot be reconciled and cannot both be true. You are guilty or guiltless, bound or free, unhappy or happy. What could you choose between but life or death, waking or sleeping, peace or war, your dreams or your reality? Remember this: every decision you make stems from what you think you are and represents the value that you put upon yourself. Yet what you do not realize each time you choose is that your choice is your evaluation of yourself. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are, and what you want to be is what you think you are. What you want to be, then, must determine every response you make. The power of your wanting must first be recognized. You must accept its strength and not its weakness. You must perceive that what is strong enough to make a world can let it go, and can accept correction if it is willing to see that it was wrong. Watch carefully, and see what it is you are really asking for. Be very honest with yourself in this, for we must hide nothing from each other. Make then your choice, but recognize that in this choice the purpose of the world you see is chosen. We choose again and make our choice for all our brothers, knowing they are one with us. Our shared purpose. What for? This is the question that you must learn to ask in connection with everything. What is the purpose? Whatever it is, it will direct your efforts automatically. When you make a decision of purpose, then you have made a decision about your future effort, a decision that will remain in effect unless you change your mind. Purpose is of the mind, and minds can change as they desire. Those who share a purpose have a mind as one. The power of our joint motivation is beyond belief, but not beyond accomplishment. What we can accomplish together has no limits. You will see your value through your brother's eyes, and each one is released as he beholds his Savior in place of the attacker whom he thought was there. Through this releasing is the world released. This is your part in bringing peace. For you have asked, what is your function here, and have been answered. Seek not to change it, nor to substitute another goal. Accept this one, and serve it willingly. The goal is clear, but now you need specific methods for attaining it. The speed by which it can be reached depends on this one thing alone, your willingness to practice every step. Each one will help a little every time it is attempted, and together will these steps lead you from dreams of judgment to forgiving dreams, and out of pain and fear. We have a mission here. We did not come to reinforce the madness that we once believed in. Let us not forget the goal that we accepted. It is more than just our happiness alone we came to gain. Changing your mind about your mind. Although the mind's natural state is one of peace, for most of us this peace lies hidden beneath the distorting veils of faulty perceptions, thoughts, and beliefs. Peace has become something that must be rediscovered and remembered through training the mind to correct its distortions. A Course in Miracles emphasizes that an undisciplined mind can accomplish nothing, and that this is a course in mind training. Only by training the mind to correct distorted thoughts and perceptions can the gift of peace be experienced. The power of mind. Your mind is the means by which you determine your own condition, because mind is the mechanism of decision. You must learn to change your mind about your mind. Only your mind can produce fear. It does so whenever it is conflicted in what it wants, producing inevitable strain because wanting and doing are discordant. Only the mind can value, and only the mind decides on what it would receive and give. And every gift it offers depends on what it wants. The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning. You want to be happy. You want peace. You do not have them now, because your mind is totally undisciplined. Try to identify with the part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Listen in deep silence. Be very still and open your mind. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. There is a place in you where there is perfect peace. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. The mind that serves Spirit is invulnerable. The mind which serves the Spirit is at peace and filled with joy. Its power comes from Spirit, and it is fulfilling happily its function here. Yet mind can also see itself divorced from Spirit, and perceive itself within a body it confuses with itself. Without its function, then, it has no peace, and happiness is alien to its thoughts. A tranquil mind is not a little gift. Merely rest, alert but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed, so that the world is freed along with you. The mind, which means that all it wants is peace, must join with other minds, for that is how peace is obtained. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given in a form each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. Alone, we can do nothing, but together our minds fuse into something whose power is far beyond the power of its separate parts. Peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still. Perception is a mirror. You respond to what you perceive, and as you perceive, so shall you behave. Every response you make to everything you perceive is up to you, because your mind determines your perception of it. You cannot be aware without interpretation, for what you perceive is your interpretation. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly, but to your interpretation of it. Your interpretation thus becomes the justification for the response. Perception selects and makes the world you see. It literally picks it out as the mind directs. The laws of size and shape and brightness would hold, perhaps, if other things were equal. They are not equal. For what you look for, you are far more likely to discover than what you would prefer to overlook. The world can teach no images of you unless you want to learn them. Reality needs no cooperation from you to be itself, but your awareness of it needs your help. Perception is a choice of what you want yourself to be, the world you want to live in, and the state in which you think your mind will be content and satisfied. It chooses where you think your safety lies, at your decision. It reveals yourself to you as you would have you be, and always it is faithful to your purpose. Let us be glad that you will see what you believe, and that it has been given you to change what you believe. If you perceive truly, you are canceling out misperceptions in yourself and in others simultaneously. Because you see them as they are, you offer them your acceptance of their truth, so they can accept it for themselves. Let us not rest content until the world has joined our changed perception. Let us not be satisfied until forgiveness has been made complete. The power of thought. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. There is no exception to this fact. Every thought you have brings either peace or war, either love or fear. From insane wishes comes an insane world. From judgment comes a world condemned, and from forgiving thoughts, a gentle world comes forth. What you must recognize is that when you do not share a thought system, you are weakening it. Those who believe in it therefore perceive this as an attack on them. This is because everyone identifies himself with his thought system, and every thought system centers on what you believe you are. You are free to believe what you choose, and what you do attests to what you believe. Changing what you think is real. The power of the mind is such that it can create whole worlds that appear to be real and outside us. This is most obvious in our sleeping dreams, which seem completely real to us when we are dreaming them. Only when we awaken do we recognize that all the people and things in the dream, including our own body, were actually created by our sleeping mind. The Course suggests that the same is true of our usual waking state. It too is a dream from which we have not yet awakened. To awaken requires recognizing our dreams and illusions for what they really are, and then being willing to relinquish them. In relinquishing our dreams, we find reality, and in reality, we find peace. Dreaming. Where are dreams but in a mind asleep? You choose your dreams, for they are what you wish, perceived as if it had been given you. You will first dream of peace, and then awaken to it. Your first exchange of what you made for what you want is the exchange of nightmares for the happy dreams of love. You recognize from your own experience that what you see in dreams you think is real while you are asleep. Yet the instant you waken, you realize that everything that seemed to happen in the dream did not happen at all. You do not think this strange, even though all the laws of what you awakened to were violated while you slept. Is it not possible that you merely shifted from one dream to another without really waking? Nothing in the world of dreams remains without the hope of change and betterment, for here is not where changelessness is found. Let us be glad indeed that this is so, and seek not the eternal in this world. Forgiving dreams are means to step aside from dreaming of a world outside yourself, and leading finally beyond all dreams unto the peace of everlasting life. Let forgiveness rest upon your dreams, and be restored to sanity and peace of mind. Without forgiveness will your dreams remain to terrify you. You cannot dream some dreams and wake from some, for you are either sleeping or awake, and dreaming goes with only one of these. The dreams you think you like would hold you back as much as those in which the fear is seen. Escape depends not on the dream, but only on awaking. Take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. The cost of illusions. Illusions are not fearful because they are not true. They but seem to be fearful to the extent to which you fail to recognize them for what they are, and you will fail to do this to the extent to which you want them to be true. Illusions are investments. They will last as long as you value them. The only way to dispel illusions is to withdraw all investment from them. Projection makes perception, and you cannot see beyond it. Again and again have you attacked your brother, because you saw in him a shadow figure in your private world. You attack in the present in retaliation for a past that is no more, and this decision is one of future pain. Unless you learn that past pain is an illusion, you are choosing a future of illusions and losing the many opportunities you could find for release in the present. Every illusion is an assault on truth. Every illusion is one of fear, whatever form it takes. You have paid very dearly for your illusions, and nothing you have paid for brought you peace. As long as the illusion of hatred lasts, so long will love be an illusion to you. And then the only choice remaining possible is which illusion you prefer. Without illusions, conflict is impossible. Let us try to recognize this today and experience the peace this recognition brings. Release your brothers from the slavery of their illusions by forgiving them for the illusions you perceive in them. Forget not, when you feel the need arise to be defensive about anything, you have identified yourself with an illusion, and therefore feel that you are weak, because you are alone. This is the cost of all illusions. Not one but rests on the belief that you are separate. This world is but the dream that you can be alone and think without affecting those apart from you. Illusions of despair may seem to come, but learn how not to be deceived by them. Behind each one, there is reality, and there is God. Can you imagine what a state of mind without illusions is? How it would feel? Try to remember when there was a time, perhaps a minute, maybe even less, when nothing came to interrupt your peace, when you were certain you were loved and safe. Then try to picture what it would be like to have that moment be extended to the end of time and to eternity. Then let the sense of quiet that you felt be multiplied 100 times, and then be multiplied another 100 more. And now you have a hint, not more than just the faintest intimation of the state your mind will rest in when the truth has come. Letting go of the past. All healing is release from the past. Let us forget the purpose of the world the past has given it, for otherwise the future will be like the past, and but a series of depressing dreams. Only the past can separate, and it is nowhere. Your past was made in anger, and if you use it to attack the present, you will not see the freedom that the present holds. There is no fantasy that does not contain the dream of retribution for the past. Would you act out the dream, or let it go? The past is nothing. Do not seek to lay the blame for deprivation on it, for the past is gone. Dwell not upon the past today. Keep a completely open mind, washed of all past ideas, and clean of every concept you have made. You have forgiven the world today. You can look upon it now as if you never saw it before. The past is gone, and with its passing, the drive for vengeance has been uprooted and has disappeared. The stillness and the peace of now enfold you in perfect gentleness. Everything is gone except the truth. Free of the past, you see that love is in you. Take this very instant, now, and think of it as all there is of time. Nothing can reach you here out of the past, and it is here that you are completely absolved, completely free, and wholly without condemnation. Fear is not of the present, but only of the past and future which do not exist. There is no fear in the present when each instant stands clear and separated from the past, without its shadow reaching out into the future. The present offers you your brothers in the light that would unite you with them and free you from the past. Would you then hold the past against them? For if you do, you are choosing to remain in the darkness that is not there, and refusing to accept the light that is offered you. The present extends forever. It is so beautiful and so clean and free of guilt that nothing but happiness is there. It is enough to heal the past and make the future free. It is enough to let the present be accepted as it is. Be very still an instant. Come without all thought of what you ever learned before, and put aside all images you made. The old will fall away before the new without your opposition or intent. Can you imagine what it means to have no cares, no worries, no anxieties, but merely to be perfectly calm and quiet all the time? Yet that is what time is for. Faith in the eternal is always justified, for the eternal is forever kind, infinite in its patience, and wholly loving. It will accept you wholly and give you peace, yet it can unite only with what already is at peace in you. Heaven is here. There is nothing else. Heaven is now. There is no other time. Welcoming reality. Real freedom depends on welcoming reality. You do not have to seek reality. It will seek you and find you when you meet its conditions. You cannot distort reality and know what it is. And if you do distort reality, you will experience anxiety, depression, and ultimately panic, because you are trying to make yourself unreal. When you feel these things, do not try to look beyond yourself for truth can only be within you. It is not the reality of your brothers or your father or yourself that frightens you. You do not know what they are, and so you perceive them as ghosts and monsters and dragons. How does one overcome illusions? Surely not by force or anger, nor by opposing them in any way. Merely by letting reason tell you that they contradict reality. They go against what must be true. The opposition comes from them, and not reality. Reality opposes nothing. What merely is needs no defense, and offers none. Only illusions need defense, because of weakness. Only reality is free of pain. Only reality is free of loss. Only reality is wholly safe. And it is only this we seek today. The obstacles to peace. We usually think of other people and outside events as the major obstacles to our peace. The Course, on the other hand, emphasizes that the major obstacles to peace reside within us as the emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that agitate our minds, cloud our perception, and distort our relationships. These barriers include emotions of fear and guilt, thoughts of judgment and condemnation, and mistaken beliefs in our specialness and in the value of sacrifice. We find peace when we release these emotions and question these beliefs, replacing fear and sacrifice with love and forgiveness. The pursuit of specialness. The pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. You are not special. If you think you are, and would defend your specialness against the truth of what you really are, how can you know the truth? Specialness always makes comparisons. It is established by a lack seen in another, and maintained by searching for and keeping clear in sight all lacks it can perceive. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. Your specialness seemed safe because of it. The pursuit of specialness must bring you pain. Forgiveness is the end of specialness. Only illusions can be forgiven, and then they disappear. Forgiveness is release from all illusion. The meaning of sacrifice. The first illusion, which must be displaced before another thought system can take hold, is that it is a sacrifice to give up the things of this world. What could this be but an illusion, since this world itself is nothing more than that? Learn now that sacrifice of any kind is nothing but a limitation imposed on giving. Your confusion of sacrifice and love is so profound that you cannot conceive of love without sacrifice. And it is this that you must look upon. Sacrifice is attack, not love. If you would accept but this one idea, your fear of love would vanish. You who believe that sacrifice is love must learn that sacrifice is separation from love. For sacrifice brings guilt as surely as love brings peace. It is not love that asks a sacrifice, but fear demands the sacrifice of love. For in love's presence, fear cannot abide. Let us join in celebrating peace by demanding no sacrifice of anyone. The veil of fear and guilt. The first obstacle that peace must flow across is your desire to get rid of it, for it cannot extend unless you keep it. You are the center from which it radiates outward to call the others in. You are its home, its tranquil dwelling place from which it gently reaches out, but never leaving you. If you are wholly free of fear of any kind, and if all those who meet or even think of you share your perfect peace, then you can be sure that you have learned God's lesson and not your own. If you are fearful, it is certain that you will endow the world with attributes that it does not possess and crowd it with images that do not exist. Truth is eclipsed by fear, and what remains is but imagined. Fear is a judgment never justified. Its presence has no meaning but to show you wrote a fearful script and are afraid accordingly. Look at what you are afraid of. Only the anticipation will frighten you. How weak is fear, how little and how meaningless, how insignificant before the quiet strength of those whom love has joined. The journey that we undertake together is the exchange of dark for light, of ignorance for understanding. Nothing you understand is fearful. We go beyond the veil of fear, lighting each other's way. What is fear except love's absence? Step back from fear and make advance to love. Fear binds the world. Forgiveness sets it free. As love must look past fear, so must fear see love not. For love contains the end of guilt as surely as fear depends on it. You think you hold against your brother what he has done to you, but what you really blame him for is what you did to him. It is not his past, but yours you hold against him, and you lack faith in him because of what you were. Those whom you see as guilty become the witnesses to guilt in you. If you did not feel guilty, you could not attack. For condemnation is the root of attack. It is the judgment of one mind by another as unworthy of love and deserving of punishment. In any union with a brother in which you seek to lay your guilt upon him, or share it with him, or perceive his own, you will feel guilty. Peace and guilt are antithetical. The end of guilt will never come as long as you believe there is a reason for it. For you must learn that guilt is always totally insane. It is impossible to use one relationship at the expense of another and not to suffer guilt. And it is equally impossible to condemn part of a relationship and find peace within it. Ask yourself honestly, would I want to have perfect communication? And am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? Where there is communication, there is peace. It is as sure that those who hold grievances will suffer guilt, as it is certain that those who forgive will find peace. Do not be afraid to look within. The ego tells you all is black with guilt within you and bids you not to look. Instead, it bids you look upon your brothers and see the guilt in them. Yet this you cannot do without remaining blind. Only in your guiltlessness can you be happy. Release from guilt as you would be released. releasing judgment and defense. The strain of constant judgment is virtually intolerable. It is curious that an ability so debilitating would be so deeply cherished. When you recognize what you are and what your brothers are, you will realize that judging them in any way is without meaning. In fact, their meaning is lost to you precisely because you are judging them. See yourself without condemnation by learning how to look on everything without it. Instead of judging, we need but be still and let all things be healed. Judgment and love are opposites. From one comes all the sorrows of the world, but from the other comes the peace of God. No one who loves can judge, and what he sees is free of condemnation. Judge not, for you but judge yourself. Those who believe that peace can be defended and that attack is justified on its behalf cannot perceive it lies within them. Anger makes attack seem reasonable, honestly provoked, and righteous in the name of self-defense. Yet is defensiveness a double threat, for it attests to weakness and sets up a system of defense that cannot work. A defense that cannot attack is the best defense. Truth has a power far beyond defense, for no illusions can remain where truth has been allowed to enter, and it comes to any mind that would lay down its arms and cease to play with folly. It is found at any time, today, if you will choose to practice giving welcome to the truth. This is our aim today. Today we learn a lesson which can save you more delay and needless misery than you can possibly imagine. It is this: you make what you defend against, and by your own defense against it, it is real and inescapable. Lay down your arms, and only then do you perceive it false. Help is here. Learn to be quiet in the midst of turmoil, for quietness is the end of strife, and this is the journey to peace. How strong is he who comes without defenses, offering only love's messages to those who think he is their enemy.